All right, I'd like to bring the Board of Selectmen meeting to order. I think we'll bypass our usual flag saluting and things till we get across the way. But our board is here, so we are prepared to work with you folks. That was a very informal bring it to order, but we'll...
It worked.
It worked.
I think everybody got that.
Yes.
Well, I think what we have in front of us, the 7 members, we have 4 people that have submitted letters of interest. We've interviewed them. I think, if I remember right, this is a decision of the 7 members as a whole. This isn't the planning board suggesting a candidate to the Board of Selectmen. I think it's a majority vote.
Okay. I don't know if the board wants to say anything, but my thought process, just like with department heads and things, is you're going to be working with this person. So I wouldn't want to be the one to suggest someone that you have to work with. So I'd rather decide off of what your thoughts are, because you're the board that has to work with whoever you're going to choose, whoever we're going to choose. So if that helps you any, I'm basically going to be quiet until you say something. I don't know about the rest of the board, but
I'd rather just take a vote with everybody.
Is there any wishes from our board, any person that they would like to nominate?
Angela, did you want to speak before we get going? Or?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Sorry,
it's okay.
no.
It's okay, Will. I believe in half and half of what both of them said. I am very interested in the conversation, what you may have to say. But I did watch the interviews, and I do have some things in my mind too. So if you were to decide to just go straight to a vote, I would be okay with that. Or if you'd like to share some information, some things you may have seen in your trained eyes that I may not have seen.
Any comments from the board, any thoughts?
Well, personally, I am somewhat torn. I worked with Mr. Punderson a long time, and he knows what we do and would come up to speed very quickly. On the other hand, Ms. Bushnell is definitely energetic and interested in coming into town government, and I think would be a new voice. So I'm kind of on the fence, but those are the 2 names that come to my mind immediately.
I'm torn also. Torn between all 4 for different reasons. I think I'm probably leaning towards Ms. Bushnell also, and the reason why is Mr. Townsend and Mr. Punderson are definitely experienced people who have both had experience with the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board. Mr. Punderson with the Planning Board before, and I think both of them very well could have aspirations of wanting to run again for the Board of Selectmen, and maybe that's the ultimate position they may want to end up with. And if that were the case, it's not definite, but if that were the case, that would leave us with another vacancy. I do feel Ms. Bushnell is bright and could get up to speed quickly as well. But I gotta be honest with you, it's really, really hard for me to make that decision of the 4 candidates, because I see a lot of good strengths in each and every one of them.
Mike?
All right, I will probably be voting in favor of Ms. Bushnell for several reasons. To bring yet another self-employed person to this board, I think we already have 3 of us. A 4th is not gonna change things as much as somebody who is a single mother with 2 kids in the school system, represents a large company in town. So I think it would be a whole different set of eyes, different set of values. She does bring enthusiasm, and I think she would be a good fit for this board. So that's where I'll be placing my vote.
Mr. Chairman?
Thank you. I think it's a difficult decision. As the board said, we have 4 extremely good candidates that have stepped forward. So I would have to lean towards Ms. Bushnell. I think she brings a lot of energy. That was the first thing I noticed in the interview. Again, bringing her up to speed, I think she's extremely bright and can get up to speed extremely quick. She has worked in the building industry. She knows blueprints inside out and backwards, and I think that's where I would be leaning at this time.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with anything that I've heard,
Mhm.
so.
I tend to agree also, so I don't know what your next step is. I'm going to propose someone, or,
I'll make a motion to recommend Ms. Bushnell for next planning board member.
Second.
Any further discussion? I'll call for a vote then of the joint board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Deb is our next member on a 6-1 vote.
thank you.
Thank you.
Do you
I'd like
need to continue your
Yeah, I'd like
meeting?
to make a motion to take a recess for the amount of time it takes to drive from here to the Council on Aging. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say one thing before we leave here.
Sure.
I think the interviews weren't done right, because like when a selectman interview people, we keep the people out in the hallway, bring them in one at a time, where you people chose to let everybody sit there and listen to everybody else's answers. I don't think that was fair to some of the people, or I should say for the first two people that you interviewed before.
That's the way it's been done previously.
Huh?
That's the way it's been done previously.
That's what?
That's the way it has been done previously.
Well, I'm saying I think it's wrong, because you're giving the people, the last two people, the advantage of listening to the other people and their answers. I mean, we don't do that for the police, we don't do it for the firemen, we don't do it for anybody. I think it's wrong that you let everybody sit there and listen to everybody else's answers, because if they study you people and see the frown on your face or whatever when they answer the question, naturally, they're gonna try to give you something different.
And we appreciate your input. If we had been able to have a joint meeting, we could have discussed procedures, but we were unable to have a joint meeting last time, so we couldn't discuss procedures with you. But thank you for your thoughts.
Yeah. But you didn't ask us for it either, so.
Well, we couldn't meet with them, because we didn't, so. Thanks, gentlemen. I can't
Thank you.
say I can only see a gentleman once more, because you'll have a co-ed board, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Rob.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting for Tuesday, September 8th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could observe a moment of silence to reflect on our duties as servants of the town, and also to reflect on the safety, continued safety of our troops, both overseas and in the United States. Thank you. In accordance with the Mass General laws, I have to announce that this meeting is being recorded by East Long Meadow Cable Access and also by the Selectmen's Office, and I have to ask if anyone else is recording the meeting. Seeing none, we can proceed. We're a few minutes late, but in the public forum, our only public forum attendee is John Turner. Come on up, Mr. Turner. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
This is the
Everybody else, how?
this is the tough handshake. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, you left them just enough room for me to
There you
squeeze
go.
through. Okay.
All right, and as usual, we've got our, it's 5 minutes, and you can state your
Yep.
piece, and, okay.
Yep, be real quick.
Okay?
And basically, you were gonna, when I was here the last time, you were gonna call me and let me know what the procedure was for upgrading, some of our laws and stuff like that, because as you know, in the center of town, if you're in the ball field, you can see, logs piled up and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and that was never there before. And I was told by someone on a different board that that was legal because of the zoning law at the time when they made that a commercial zone.
I thought it was industrial garden.
I don't know what. I'm not sure what it was.
I don't, I'm not either. But I know obviously the property you're talking about.
Yeah.
And if
And-
nothing else, and I know that's been addressed by, I obviously, right by the building inspector, but nothing's been done by the owner. I mean, I just, it's one of those things where you'd hate to see, and obviously the chief would probably agree with me on this, you'd hate to see that pile of mulch, if it's still there, spontaneously combust, because that would be a
It's,
nightmare for that whole neighborhood.
It's sawdust, it would,
Yeah, oh, yeah. And I know
it
that.
could,
Yep,
Through the chair.
Yes.
We've been on that, spoke to them several times, that the fire prevention code, they didn't reach the threshold for permits or licensing for the quantity, believe it or not. When it comes to log storage, that's not in the fire prevention regulations, that's more in the OSHA and that type of stuff, because it's a workplace and it's a workplace hazard. We've been on, the mulch pile is a lot smaller. We told them our concerns, and because we did get a ton of phone calls about it.
Yeah, he took some off.
can you take the rest out?
No.
All right. Now, go ahead. I was gonna say, is that the, I know you've got the same list we have.
yeah, there's a couple of typos here. It's Hamden, not Hampton. And it's
On a spell check.
103, not 123 Pleasant Street. And in the list of 8, there's only one thing that's changed, and that's the 3 Dearborn Street. That's the only vehicle that's changed.
It's gone now?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was that other thing you said, 122?
123?
103, it says 123.
You get this list?
It's
See this
103.
list? The one we got in our papers there. This one should be 103. And, okay, that's resolved.
Not resolved.
No, that was-
99.
What's that?
One, I'm not sure if it's resolved or not. That's where I'm trying to get a clarification of the law.
Which one?
That's the one, 99 Maple Street. He has a permit for a small business, and he has a van there. There was no lettering on the van. But if he's using it as a small business out of his home, he has a permit for that, and that means that the van really has to be out of sight.
No, I know it says, it says here there was a fence in place. Is there a fence in
There's
place?
no fence in place. He has a new fence, but it's got nothing to do with his driveway.
Okay.
And most of these things are over 2 years old. I think they've all but 1 or 2 have been sent letters to cease. A couple of them have received fines that haven't gone anyplace except a dead letter box. And it's kind of like speeding fines in a way, if I can draw an analogy for fines. If we drove on a Mass Pike and we've all seen other cars stopped, we're probably all at one time or another, especially with the road being so smooth and having newer cars than when the Mass Pike was built, going too fast on the Mass Pike, and probably we would have been lucky not to get a ticket, but on more than one occasion. But when you do get stopped, you're fined, and you have to pay the fine. And after so many fines, you lose your license. But we don't, we send letters to cease, but we don't follow it up. We've issued some fines, but no one's been fined, and no one's paid a fine. And the law states that after the first day, if it's not done the second day, it's a $200 fine. It's a $300 fine on the fourth day, and a $300 fine every day thereafter. And if nobody had to pay their speeding fines, and your insurance wasn't going to go up, nobody would pay their speeding fines either. Because that's what a fine does. A fine, it's actually a fine where people have to reach in their back pocket and take money out. That will rectify the situation very quickly, and it will make the town a much more aesthetically pleasing place to live.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Okay, I know we got late this afternoon an updated list, which I'll have, Greg, if you don't mind getting to Mr. Turner at some point, the one that we got from Mr. Hellier, which has a couple more resolutions, I believe, on a couple of these items, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
But-
It's number 10 on the agenda, too. I included it there.
Right, right. Okay.
Okay, because all of these, I haven't passed in anything new in
Right.
well over a year.
Right.
I mean, these go back 2 years, over 2 years, when they were sent, some of them go back over 2 years, when they were sent a letter to cease.
Well, it looks like now, there's 1, 2, 3, there's at least 3, no, there you go.
Just got this this afternoon.
There's at least 3 of these that are resolved. I believe 3 Dearborn is following up because he couldn't find a commercial vehicle. The 61 Kibbe Road, the only son's going to resolve the issue. And then obviously Hamden Road was misspelled, so that's, so anyways, you've got that update there. I don't have to review the whole thing. But in any event, we will follow through on these and check with Mr. Hellier and see where we stand on some of the ones that aren't resolved, but it looks like a majority of them are now. So we'll get his take on the whole thing.
Well, there's a difference between will resolve and resolved.
Right.
Okay, so the majority are.
Well, actually, well, we're about, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There are 8 there.
There's
One was
8.
resolved before.
Right.
And I
Actually,
just-
three were resolved before, according to the list. Porter Road, Maple Street, and Maple Street, according to the building inspector.
Yeah, Porter Road was resolved
But then
just
maybe-
recently,
So,
a couple of days
maybe
ago.
people went down, because he went out and I guess he saw something, so.
well, he saw the vans, but according to this,
Yeah, I don't know
because
what's
according to this, he
what.
found no commercial vehicles, but we will follow up on these and
Okay.
get the resolution to this.
Because,
so.
you know, if someone's got a small business permit,
Yeah.
he's got a right to have
Right.
a commercial vehicle on his property.
Yeah,
It's
that-
part of his business.
Mhm.
But the commercial vehicle, even though this one's not lettered, is not supposed to be visible from the street. You can't have part of one law and part of another law. If he didn't have a small business permit, he could have that vehicle there, because it's not lettered. Correct?
Even though it doesn't sound fair.
Well, you know, this is why I asked you before about updating some of these laws,
Right,
like
right.
25 Hampden Road. I mean, he's had an open building permit since
Right,
1969.
but that's not our purview. That's the planning board.
But if you would let me know what I have to do, or who I have to see, or what the law is, because
Mm-hmm.
we've got a, and I have to cite my age here in this, and probably my indifference, because our town website does not have a table of contents.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm used to a table of contents.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do I know how to use a computer? Yes, I know how to use a computer. But they're using some other type of table of content there.
Mhm.
And when I asked Mr. Quimby a year ago how I could find something, it took him 10 minutes to find it, and he had his smartphone.
Mhm.
So if he can't find it within 10 minutes,
Right.
and I'm over 70,
Mhm.
and, you know, what do you expect me to do?
Mhm.
You know, I know how to use a table of contents. It should be on our town website. We should have a table of contents.
Right.
For us old-timers.
Weren't you a teacher?
I'm still a teacher. Why? What would you like to
I
know?
was wondering.
But sometimes at the table of contents, Mr.
I don't know what you meant by that comment.
Well, you're a teacher, you should know how to use a computer.
What,
Because
I know how to run numerous music programs.
Mr. Quimby went to East Long Meadow High School.
That's fine. I didn't have him as a student. I didn't know he went to East Long Meadow High School. You went to East Long Meadows High School. I didn't have you as a student either.
Thank God.
Through the chair, sometimes, Mr. Chairman, sometimes because our program is always constantly being updated, to have a table of content may not be as effective as you might think, because it's always changing. But certainly, it's worth looking into and speaking
I
with
asked him
Mr.
about it
Quimby.
over a year ago. And I know this is something new out there. I've been retired for 14 years, by the way. And I ran numerous programs as a teacher. Okay?
Well, we're sort of getting off
Getting
the
off,
off the
yeah.
topic here, but in any event, yeah, I would think it would be a planning department matter if you were looking to change regulations for, be it the small business and the vehicles and, you know, that would
Well,
not.
that's an inconsistency in the law. I'm sure it
Well, I
can be
know, but
fixed.
you were asking where to go to try to rectify the matter, and that would be where you'd start, is the planning board, or the planning department. So,
But how about the outdated zoning, I mean,
well, that, once again,
code?
that's
You
once
know,
again.
that doesn't come here?
No,
You were gonna get back to me
no,
on that.
that doesn't, well, that doesn't come here because we're not zoning enforcement people.
But if it's legal by the law, and the law is antique, I don't know if it's legal. I don't know how long you're supposed to have an open building permit. Is it good forever?
I thought you had said last time you discussed this, we do have an open.
I don't
building
know.
permit.
I don't
Oh, 'cause
know. I
that's what
was
you-
never,
That's what
I
you
was,
stated last time you were here.
yeah, I probably did, but in all honesty, I don't know, because I've never been able to
Right.
find it.
Okay. But that would be the place to start, would be the planning department, and find out if there is.
Oh, should I call Mr. Quimby up and have him,
Well, that wouldn't do you any good, because he's not in the planning department.
but he would know what the law was.
Well, I suppose, yeah.
I mean, I can read.
Mhm. True. All right. You could call him, you could call, but like I said, I'm trying to get you to the source of the
Yeah.
keepers of the law. so-
Yeah, yeah, okay, I
right.
appreciate that.
All righty. All right,
Okay.
and we'll, like I said, we get some answers here, we'll see when we get the answers on the rest of these, and we'll get back to you with
Okay,
those. All
and
right?
and if it says done here, and I take a picture, and, you know, I generally take pictures of everything now, but I don't develop them unless I have to.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Because it doesn't cost anything to take a picture, it does cost to develop it.
okay.
Now,
All
Okay,
right.
thank
Very
you.
good, thank you.
now in the digital
You
age.
know, through the board, Paul,
What's up?
Greg's been working with us. We're trying to approach this at a different
Okay.
angle.
Mhm.
We're not here to hurt the people in the town, we're here to help them. So what we're trying to do, we're going out it a different way. Me and Mr. Helly went out on 8 of these, and some of the people that were habitual, we told them they gotta get off their duff.
Okay.
But the other thing we gotta do, I think, is, because at the time all this home business thing was passed, they only grandfathered people that lived there at that time.
Correct.
Right.
Since then, we've had a lot of people. I think how we could solve this thing is open it up again to these people, and then if people get a chance to do what they're supposed to do according to the rules of the home business thing, then if they don't, then I think we got a problem.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
But I think to be fair to the people, because I gotta tell you the truth, we're driving people out of East Long Meadow with businesses, because I know some are going to Hamden and Wilbraham because of the laws we got here with trucks and stuff. And we're not trying to push business out, we're trying to bring them in town.
Right.
So as of being the liaison through the chair,
Mhm.
have we issued any tickets, or are we going to talk about that later on?
I don't think anything's been issued.
Okay, no tickets have been issued because we're working with them, but what about the
think-
habitual people?
They should, well, I put it down on number
10?
Number 10, okay.
talk about that.
I'll wait
yeah.
to that.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Excuse me, can I reply to Mr. Gorman? Statements on opening up the small business law again?
Yeah, talk up so I can
Sure.
hear you.
Okay, that over 80%.
Come to, excuse me,
Yeah.
come to the mic, please, so it can be picked up on the okay?
First of all, over 80% of the taxes in this town are paid by people who live in residential property. There is no shortage of business property available in this town for small businesses. In fact, it would probably behoove a lot of small businessmen to get together as a unit and buy some property so that they can house their equipment, their vehicles, and everything else, because if you look at what's on the road now for small business, some of the trucks are oversized. The trailers are getting bigger and wider. Our streets aren't getting any wider. A lot of them create very hazardous situations because streets only 21 feet wide. They park out 1.5 feet. They throw a cone out another 1.5 feet, and they're taking up 23 feet of the street. That barely allows a lot of room for a car to go by. And what happens? You can't see what's coming, and you've got a child coming down on his bicycle. That's creating a dangerous situation. And I think you should think of those things too, and I think you ought to look at how some of us, as homeowners, feel about having to see commercial vehicles on our street. No one's after the guy who's got his pickup truck or anything else like that, Mr. Gorman. No one's after them. They got a truck, they work, they're a carpenter. But once you letter a truck, you've got an advertisement sitting down the street. And that makes that a commercial property.
But let me just tell you something before you get up. You were a teacher. Do all teachers live in town? Do all teachers abide by laws in town? These people are working people that need a vehicle to do, let me finish before you get on there. Before they do their job, they need a vehicle. They didn't teach instruments where you just gotta have something and you can put it in a case and leave. All these people in East Long Meadow use the people in East Long Meadow to keep the business here, to do their lawn, to do their trees, and do everything. And if it's such a safety hazard, instead of coming to the board, you should be going to see the police chief and tell them it's a safety hazard out there with these trucks parked out there. It has nothing to do with us. It's got to do with the safety and the police department.
I will go and speak to Chief Mills on the safety issue. But as far as somebody, the little guy, I've heard it over and over again, we're not after the little guy. Just don't put your advertisement on your truck.
But I believe a lot of them have to.
That's right.
My grandfather had a dump truck when he lived in Springfield, and when he went through Wilbraham, they stopped him and said, you have to have your truck lettered because it's a commercial vehicle. So by law, you have to have it lettered. So you can't tell them not to have it lettered because you're breaking the law.
I got stopped by a state cop, want to know where my DOT number and my name was on my truck. You think we want to put our names on our truck for what it costs to do that? I'd rather have no name on there, just a telephone number.
But in any event, we're
What?
You're going far astray of the issue. The other issue is...
Well,
No,
wait,
the issue
excuse me.
The issue I'm telling you, people need vehicles because this is a working town to do their job. They can't do it with a spoon or a shovel. They need a vehicle to get around to do their job, whether it's a carpenter, a landscaper, or what. And I gotta tell you, some of the people that you're complaining about, you ever go and look at their yards are immaculate. Immaculate. For the people that are complaining, ought to take a look at some of these landscapers' yards and see how they keep up their place, and maybe it should rub off on them, because I go out on them.
Perhaps
well-
you should look at a few other ones.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Turner.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I'd like to make, did you have any changes on the
I
minutes?
did, and I gave them to Lorraine, so,
All right.
so
All right.
the only
And-
one that didn't have changes would have been the open,
And like,
why did you just see
yeah,
the
well,
changes?
all right, yeah. I'd like to make a motion to approve the open session minutes and the executive session minutes of December 29th, 2014. Wow, we're back in time, huh?
With changes.
With changes.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the open session minutes of January 6, 2015, and the executive session minutes of January 6, 2015 with
With
changes.
changes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, our 6:15 appointment, which we're a few minutes late for, is Brian Falk, and our Emergency Management Director, and Bruce Augusti, the Area Coordinator for MEMA. Come on up, gentlemen.
Hi there.
Nice to meet you, Paul.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you. No.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Ready, sir? Okay. All right, you are here for, looks like 5 different items. One is, or the first is, the mutual aid agreement.
Yes. I'll start it off, right? Thank you for having me, first of all. And the purpose for my visit tonight is to ask the town of East Long Meadow to revisit the mutual aid acts that were set out in August of 2011 and then again in January of 2012. These were written by Undersecretary at that time, Kurt Schwartz, who was looking to improve the mutual aid that cities and towns receive throughout the Commonwealth. And I think one of the things that prompted this was number one, in South Hadley, we had an extremely large hazmat spill. I don't know if you remember that. That was the largest hazmat spill that occurred in the state of Massachusetts until the day before Thanksgiving, when the town of Danvers wanted to take credit for having the largest incident. And so anyway, they ended up with that explosion. And what came out of it was the fact that there were some limitations to some of the mutual aid. And I think one of the things that was very noticeable was when some of the buildings had to be looked at to see if they were safe. There were not enough of enough qualified building inspectors who could go in and quickly make an assessment. And out of that, and along with the October rainstorms and the Halloween event that we had several years ago, we didn't know if it was the middle of the winter or the kids were going to go trick-or-treating. That prompted another look at it. So the laws of public safety laws under the general laws of Massachusetts 40 and 4J then set in and established some of the guidelines that could be used to better make emergency responses more effective and certainly keep cities and towns out of jeopardy. One of the things that was concluded from this was the ability to go ahead and to what we call opt into these agreements. Mm-hmm. And opting in means if I could join, okay? Mm-hmm. When we talk about these mutual aid agreements, we talk about what does the town have to give up, what does the town have to do, so on and so forth. And in the back of your booklet, I made up a little thing called Statewide Mutual Aid Frequently Asked Questions, okay, that I hope tonight would kind of set aside any questions that you might have with this. Obviously, the 35 or 40 pages is good reading. And you'll probably enjoy looking at it. But if we cut right to the quick of it, the key thing is the best sponsor we have is a legal group called Koppelman and Page, mm-hmm. who indicate that this is a fine agreement for cities and towns to join into. I think the second thing that happens is the undersecretary and a committee from not only highway departments, himself as the undersecretary, DCR representative, so also looked at this on the mutual aid side for Department of Public Works and said it's the best possible thing cities and towns can do. It costs nothing to join. If you sign to opt in on this, mm-hmm. within 30 days you'll be opted into the program. Obviously there's paperwork that has to be done. Mm-hmm. It costs nothing to stay in. And if you decide that at the end of whenever you decide that you want to leave, okay, and I would see no reason why anyone would want to leave, mm-hmm. they would say it would take about 10 days to get you out of it, okay? So nothing to join, nothing to maintain, and you can leave anytime you want. It's a law, okay? It's a public law, and we're looking for support from your cities and towns on it. What does it do, okay? If you opt in, the biggest question everybody asks is, well, I'm faced with some disasters in my own town. Mm-hmm. I'm a mutual aid partner. Town X goes ahead and says, we need help right away. Well, in the best interest of your police chief, your fire chief, Department of Public Works, whoever else, we really can't send mutual aid because, in fact, we have to take care of our own town first. Mm-hmm. Is there a penalty? The answer is no, okay? You don't have to send it if you don't feel comfortable sending it, because you're anticipating defending your own community, okay? Does it supersede or invalidate any other agreements or current agreements in effect? The answer is no. All are still in place and can be executed using the statewide program. In reality, it encourages towns to sign the additional mutual aid agreements. If you've signed on with local agreements, what will this do for us? All it does is extend, by opting in, it extends the base where you're coming from, okay? So that means if we have an issue in East Long Meadow, Springfield, and West Springfield, and we just don't have enough people to help get trees out of the way and clear roads, then we can go ahead and those other communities who've opted in on the other end of the state will come to rescue us. And that would take somewhere between 24 to 72 hours would be the guarantee on it, okay? How do you join? There's a piece of paper that says, can I opt in? And the answer is yes. Chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Town Administrator would be the persons who would sign it. Again, we would get it down into Framingham, and then we would go ahead and then turn it up to the people in Boston. What town departments should be included? The answer is police, fire, emergency management, health, public works, building inspectors, or any departments that can be used to assist public safety. Are there any, do I need to call the state to activate the agreement? Again, the answer is no. This is a community-driven event. The only involvement by MEMA, it would be in the event that it was a large event and we had to expand outside the regional boundaries. What are the differences between statewide agreements and mutual aid public safety agreements? The agreements are basically the same word for word. However, public safety works agreements have three different elements. They have the ability to cover everyday use of public works. They have an oversight committee that can be used to get state equipment from out of the state of Massachusetts, as long as your community is opted into the program. The beauty part about this is when you are requesting it, okay, your community would then take charge of the activities, so on and so forth, okay. The sending town, okay, would then bear all the expenses, okay. And the beauty part about this, again, is in the event of there's a federal disaster, okay, that this community would be eligible to receive 100% reimbursement if you opt into the program. So if we have a tornado and mutual aid comes in from Long Meadow, Chicopee, Holyoke, wherever, and they have crews here for days and days, okay, obviously by keeping copious paperwork, when that federal declaration does come in, they will be able to recoup all of those monies that were spent in giving you that emergency aid that you were looking for. The other thing it does, it allows your Department of Public Works or whatever the ability to go ahead and to set up agreements within other towns. Example, if you have a payloader, okay, in town X wants to borrow it, certainly you're going to help them out and lend it. Day 2, he needs to borrow it again. Day 3, he's not quite finished, but you know what, maybe another 4 hours we can get out of this. You then have the right to say, we're glad to help you in a pinch or an emergency, but it then gives you the ability to go ahead and to make your own contract between the two of you, where you then would agree that, you know what, we can rent it to you, we can set up an agreement, and whatever your town wants to agree with this other person, you can go ahead and do. So that's the flexibility, again, with this.
Okay. How many towns and cities in this area are involved in this?
Who have already opted in? Springfield, West Springfield, Agawam, Holyoke, Chicopee, Westfield, Granby, Russell, Southwick, The only two towns that I know in this area that haven't opted into this, and I stand to be corrected, would be the town of Hamden. And I do have another town up in Berkshire County, that's called New Ashford, that has a population of 148 people, but we're going up to see them next. But Wilbraham has it, Wales has it. Yeah. So, is it a good deal for you folks? Absolutely it is, ladies and gentlemen.
I guess what I'm trying to think of is.
Yes.
Like we had the tornado thankfully didn't affect us directly, but we had those storms and everything, and we had all the trees down. And we had people do all, you know, well, it was mostly our town employees who took care of the clearing of the trees and everything, and we did get reimbursed 100%. So, well, through FEMA, but that's what you're talking about, was a federal disaster. So I'm, in that idea,
It was probably 75%. I think usually goes 75,
I think we get the whole
25.
thing.
Public assistance, public assistant policies with FEMA are usually 75%.
Well, I beg to differ between FEMA and MEMA, we probably get the whole thing back, so. But in any event, I'm trying to see what the advantage is to this as opposed to where we stand now, I guess is what, you know, I'm just wondering. I mean, I know it doesn't cost anything. If, I don't want to put them on the spot, but.
I do have a question for Bruce. If, with, such as the tornadoes, they activated the statewide fire task force, and they had fire companies come in actually from the Boston area. Boston had Forest Springfield. Is that the reimbursable portion of it? They say, because I mean, when Worcester had that terrible tragedy, we went to Worcester. But that was part of our agreement as being a member of the statewide fire task force. Is that the same? That's not the same thing.
No.
So the Boston companies, Cambridge, wherever they came from in that area, weren't reimbursed for their evening 8-hour operational period or 12-hour, I forgot what they were set up as, but, so that's because Springfield's opted in and they got reimbursed, so theoretically they can repay those communities, but they didn't. Because it's part of the mutual aid, the existing mutual aid agreement.
Good point. Let me get you an answer on that. But I think what's going to end up happening with this now, for all those communities that have opted in, if you're not an opt-in, you can't take part in this program. Okay, I think that would be, that's the biggest concern you should have. If in fact everybody around you has opted in, okay, and they seek mutual aid, obviously the mutual aid opt-ins are going to get that assistance.
I guess my question would be, is if we're not opted in, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, Bruce, if we're not opted in and Wilbraham is, and we both have the same disaster, and we both call for help from MEMA, because that's our go-to, call for help from MEMA, they're going to get it before us? I
would say yes, sir.
Really?
This is our town council.
They're going to give aid to one community before another in a disaster? Because one's part of an agreement and one's not?
It's almost having like the fire mark on your house. In Pennsylvania, it's the fire mark on your house. That house is insured, that one's not. Let's take care of this house first.
I would say.
100 years ago.
That's a whole different situation.
But I'm just saying, it seems that way.
Yeah, I would say this, that if in fact both towns had a disaster, okay, let's say a tornado, an earthquake, okay? Obviously, someone's going to go out to evaluate to see what the loss of life and property is. And then that evaluation would be made. Again, is someone going to put a black mark on your back and say, no, because you didn't opt in, we're going to penalize you? I would say the answer probably is probably no, but I'm not making that call, okay?
But the issue, isn't the issue with this whole agreement just funding and reimbursement? It's really not providing services. If somebody in the eastern part of the state under this agreement, it's all volunteer whether they send anybody. There's no requirement that anybody send anybody. So it's really the mechanism that's set up is to have a means where people submit their bills for firefighters coming from Worcester or DPW guys coming from Worcester to the community that's receiving the aid. They keep track of it, and then they submit it to either the state or the federal government for reimbursement. And as long as they've got all their documents, they get it back. I mean, it's
a mechanism for reimbursement. It's a mechanism to cover those communities who may be traveling back and forth during that disaster, okay?
I don't know what that means.
Well, let's say, for instance, you're a mutual aid company, okay? Your people who are volunteering to go out there are covered under your programs, okay? Should something happen to them. The same thing as when you lend equipment to another town, under that mutual aid agreement, your drivers and your operators are operating your equipment because they have a better idea of how it works, how it runs, and in fact, if in fact it's my equipment and it's my town's equipment, I would think they actually probably want to take better care of it and use better precautions and better precautions for your own men.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, I don't see why, if it didn't cost nothing, it costs us nothing, right?
Right.
To get in it,
Right. Costs nothing to join, and it costs nothing to leave.
and nothing to stay in it. And all these towns are in it.
Why couldn't all the towns do it then? Why don't you just include every town in Massachusetts? I've been through a national disaster in Alaska, so.
It's up to the town fathers to, Board of Selectmen or mayor to opt into it, okay? As Jim just said, no one can force you into this. We're hopeful that you will join. If for some reason you're not happy with it, within 10 days of when you decide that you want to opt out of it, you certainly can opt out of it.
What would be a negative why you
Yeah.
would want to opt out of it?
I can't see any negatives. If it's nothing to join, nothing to maintain membership, and it takes you 10 days to decide to go out, and public safety people have said, yes, this is the best venue for you, why would you not want to join it?
So that, through the chair, that is exactly the question. So did Hamden, New Ashford, or Wilbraham or Wales give you any reason why they were not joining?
Oh, Wilbraham is in.
Wilbraham joined.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
missed that.
Wales
So
is
Wales.
in. Yeah,
Wales is in?
yeah.
So Hamden
To be
and
very
New
honest with
Ashford.
you, when we were first breaking these out,
Mhm.
they may have been overlooked.
Okay.
The emergency manager may have not presented it for us, okay? So we did have a list of maybe, and some of the letter I gave you is a little bit dated. There's well over 250, there's 352 cities and towns in Massachusetts. I would say there's over 225 or so that are in. Now, it's a question of just going back and saying, gee, we missed you, or you didn't act on this, and for whatever reason, and we just want to close this all up to get everybody aboard.
Okay.
Have
And
any
just,
towns
if I
ever
may-
opt out of it?
Not that I've heard of.
Okay. You said within 30 days. When did the clock start, or when does it start?
As soon as you sign,
You said nothing.
it'll take 30 days to get you enrolled into the program.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And then if you decide that you want out, send us a note in Framingham and just say, you know what, this isn't for me because I decided on this, that, and the other thing. And within 10 days, you're out.
Okay, got it.
I'm still hung up on Greg's question because I think it's a great question. If it's such a good program, why don't you just include everybody? Why do you have to volunteer in it? If it's a part of the mass, emergency management, or it's put on by them, why isn't everybody automatically included? And
I think, again,
I'm getting.
just because we're a home rule,
Okay.
we're a home rule state.
It's a law.
Right, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and you,
The state has chosen not, first of all, there's the state mandates.
Yep.
If they ordered you to be part of the program, and there's any cost at all involved, before it becomes effective, they being the state legislature, has to provide a sum of money to cover any costs that are involved. So I think the state's
Yeah, okay.
leery about doing that.
Okay.
And so now everyone, if you opt in on your own, they don't have that issue.
Okay. At least, yeah, that's, okay, now I get it. Any other questions?
No.
All right.
If I could get a copy of that, the 20 most asked questions, it seemed to be
It's right in
missing.
there, isn't it?
It is-
Seemed to be missing from my
Should be
packet.
in the very back of the right side.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
No.
I looked through
No,
everyone.
all we've got is chapter 188 of the Act.
Oh, I have it.
Thank you.
Get,
Bill, did you have one?
in the back?
No.
All right.
You didn't have one yet?
Yeah, Lorraine, the copy.
Yeah.
You get it, just
I can look
do
at
something for
I
it.
thought I stuck it in there.
I have
It's
one.
okay.
Okay.
All right. If you want to,
Mr. Gorman needs one.
no, I just gave him mine.
Oh, okay.
If you want, just make a copy of it and
I'll
put it
make a
in my,
copy.
whatchamacallit, in the office, my
I'll make
mail
sure the
slot.
chairman gets a copy.
Thank you, no problem. All right. Anything further from the board, or we're gonna obviously review this?
Mm.
So, thank you, what's that?
Do you want to set up the decision for the next meeting?
Well, we can review this, and we'll look at it in our next meeting, as far as a vote.
Okay.
All right, very good.
Well, the thing I'd just like to say is, if it doesn't cost nothing to get in, and it doesn't cost anything to get out,
It sounds too good to be true.
and if there's no legal problem, I don't know, to me, it's a no-brainer.
And if, depending on what happened, you feel you can't let the equipment go at that time, sorry, we can't send it.
Yeah, and there is no penalty for that. If in fact your police or fire or DPW feel that impending danger is coming up on your community and you want to go, and you feel if you sent it out of town and couldn't return it in time to defend your own town, yeah, there is no obligation on that. Okay. Which is good with this mutual aid, because then if another town outside of a hot zone, I'll call it, okay, can send equipment,
Mhm.
you then have your answer.
Right, okay. Yeah, this way, if we wait till next meeting, we can bounce it off as like representative of DPW and just get their thoughts. All right,
Thank you.
thank you, Bruce.
Okay, thanks,
Sir. All right, so next item is the resignation of Forrest Goodrich, emergency management member.
Yes, I called him up. In fact, I called him and two other members of the organization to have a small meeting, and the way he expressed to me is it was take me off of it for having too many issues with my legs and knees and so forth. And
Okay. So obviously, with regret, we'll accept the resignation of Mr. Goodrich and we'll send him a letter. Oh, okay.
Yeah, for his service.
Yeah. All right, now next item is a letter request from Neil Hawley to be put on. Okay, and I assume that's,
he expressed an interest. If we have a slot opening, that opens up, another slot that opens up. I've got somebody else that's also contacted me a couple times, is interested in becoming
okay.
part of it.
Now, do you have a limited number of people, or is it a,
According to everything I've read and that Lorraine has come up with, it's 7.
okay, and how many do you have now, 6?
With Chief Mellis and Sergeant D'Alessio, it's 7. Forrest makes it 6, and Neil puts it back at 7.
Okay. All right, but,
Through the chair.
yes,
With openings in on committees, we were sending that out to the reminder.
well, yeah, but I think in this case, I mean, I'm just giving my opinion. If
Yeah.
you've got a candidate that you think is qualified,
So we're
And
always,
he's got some specialist, for lack of a better
Yeah,
term,
yeah.
background
yeah.
that will work well.
I know, he looks really great, I understand that, I'm just asking about policy. Are we gonna continue to send it out to see who else is interested, or are we going to go with
Well, I
Somebody said something.
mean, we always have openings, it seems like, and
Right.
if, if we've got a candidate that's willing to take the position, rather than spending money to advertise it, then I think, and once again, if the candidate's being brought to us by the board or, the person in charge, then, I mean, it's not a paid position, it's not a,
No, no. I hear
so.
you. So,
There's no limit, there is no limit to the amount of people that can be on it.
oh, well, then
Okay.
that frees it up for me. But-
Well, that explains the next guy.
Oh, we reached the limit.
Have a nice night, Frank.
All I'm saying is we should be consistent. If we're going to put it out, we should put
I
them all
think-
out. But if there's no,
Well, I think we usually put them out when there's no one.
when there's no one,
Right. So,
but if they don't know that it's out there, how could they?
but I guess the question becomes, are you gonna get somebody that's more qualified than this person by throwing it in the newspaper? I mean, yeah.
I would,
Probably not.
I would say that if nobody's showed an interest,
I
then
know.
yes, we have to take that avenue.
Okay, yeah. But you've got
And try and
people
get
showing-
prospective candidates.
Right. But you have people showing interest.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
But seeing that there's no limit to it, I think, I think we're going to discuss it later on one of the other agenda items. But we should put it out there, what's available and where the openings are, so that the public can know and so they can volunteer. Because if they don't know, they're not going to
Right.
volunteer, so.
And we do put that out on occasion, I think.
Yeah, we do. We
So-
do. We have.
Yeah. All right, so in that case, I guess I'll give this a whirl. I'd like to propose a motion to add Neil Hawley to the emergency management team.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And next, we have a gentleman who was on the committee and left and now wants to come back, which is always good, because he's got experience.
And because he's got experience, if for some reason I'm not around,
Yes, that's true. All right. Then in that case, any comments or questions from the board? Then I'd like to propose a motion to reinstate Frank Morosino to the Emergency Management Board.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And last but not least, the old fire station. Do we know if anybody's using that thing, based on the pictures you showed us? Anyone?
based on the appearance, it doesn't look it.
Okay. And I didn't think they were anyways, but that's just my thought from conversations we've had, so, not you and us, but just.
Right.
Is it possible to call them in and talk to them about that too?
I mean, there are, since the leakage has been stopped and everything else has been corrected on the exterior, nothing's been done on the interior.
Right. And those pictures of the items in front of the heater, does not, I mean, I realize it's a little tougher to burn a brick building down, but you still don't want to give anybody an opportunity.
Those
to-
I understand, that type of condition, I understand, dates back to when Mr. Zampasini and Mr. Fenny went through there, and they found similar conditions at that time, and they were supposed to be taken care of,
So it's the same,
from what I understand, or close to.
yeah, so we should probably find out if we can get somebody in here from the J.C.'s and find out if they're actually using the building. No, I was just saying, we should probably get somebody in from the J.C.'s to find out if they're actually using the building, and if they are, explain to them that good tenants don't leave the building in the condition that it's in.
Well, through the board?
Yeah.
Alls I can say, there are 4 or 5 or 6 of us that went over there to look at the inside and the outside. I mean, they're supposed to maintain this building inside and out. That was right before the bonfire. Mr. Parent to go over there. I mean, this is right in the center of town.
Mhm.
I mean, it's definitely an
So
eyesore.
you can't
Oh,
whack your
excuse me.
microphone with the...
Go over there and take care of this, which he sent the town guys to. And then we went on inside, we had the fire chief with us to look at the backside. If they're using it, it's sure a fire trap, because
Yeah.
there was stuff piled up against the gas furnace back there,
All right.
plastics and barrels, and so
With the
I'd rather
amount
see-
of
Can I see those
potential
pictures?
unknown water hidden water damage, and what we did see as far as mold, which is mold in the insulation above the ceiling. The only way to really do it is to gut the building, gut the exterior.
Because
Cur-
we spent I don't know
Sorry.
how much money
Yeah, I
outside,
know.
Paul, you know, it's a
Yeah.
shame to just let it sit there.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and it's an eyesore in the center of town.
Yeah. Carleen, did you?
Can I have permission to approach?
Sure. I feel like a judge. Tell us who
My
you
name
are.
is Carleen Hoffman.
If you dare.
And I head up the Medical Reserve Corps for the town. And went and looked at the building with Brian and talked to Brian earlier today to ask him if I can sit here and talk to you because I'm so upset with what I saw. And I think it's an absolute disgrace that this building has been brought down to what it looks like now, especially since it's a historical building. Now, I know Brian mentioned that there was a leak and it has been fixed and there's some mold in there that was probably caused by the leak. And that's, fairly understandable. We understand that, damage is going to be caused because of something of that nature. But when you look at some of the other things that are in there, like the empty beer bottles and the trash that's on top of every single surface in there, the mold that's inside of the refrigerator, and the trash and lack of vacuuming tells me that either the building is not being used or they just don't care. And I just wanted an opportunity to say that because I'm so upset about it. And I truly believe in what Brian's trying to do here. I think it would be a great facility for the emergency management and the operations and the teams that fall under that umbrella.
Thank
And
you.
that's
So,
it.
so the first thing to do is find out, just get in contact with somebody from the J.C.'s and either have them come to our next meeting or somehow explain to them that we want to do things with this building and they can't treat it like this and expect to be the only ones to use it, so.
As far as lease, people in your office have found what we believe is the last agreement was dated 1990 for 5 years.
Okay. I did a 99-year lease at some point.
I don't know.
No, I got the thing, they only had 10 years. on
Oh,
it.
all right, okay. Yeah, then we'll find out, just do the formality of that.
Right.
So you'll always contact your tenant before you, so, all right. Very good.
Through the chair?
Yep.
I think we should get those people in their next meeting and get this thing rolling, Paul, because winter's coming in, and with all that, we get a letter from the fire department saying it's a fire hazard back there. Colder weather is coming. If we don't get doing something on that, the building could be gone. If something happens. I mean, Greg was over there, these two people were there, the fire chief was there, I was there. I mean, it's a total disaster over there, right in the center of East Long Meadow.
True.
And here I'm on the health department going out getting after people in the residential, and right in the center of town, it's a complete disaster.
Yeah, all right. So we'll do that hopefully for the next meeting. All right, thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, both of you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the fire chief. Yes. All right. Yes, how are you? How you doing?
I'm doing well.
That's good. Good. And the first item is your comments on the old fire station.
I think Selectman Gorman hit the nail on the head when it came to the back furnace room. I think the pictures were attached, or the photo we took was attached with our letter. I guess the only good thing right now is, which it appears that the gas service is locked out. I'm not sure if it's for lack of payment, but there's a Bay State Gas, Columbia Gas lock on the service, so the gas is turned off, so the furnace is not going to turn on. Which leads me to believe maybe the frozen, because there was frozen pipes in there at one point. Is that the same reason? Because the gas was turned off, no heat? And that furnace isn't gonna work correctly anyways with the amount of stuff that was piled over it.
How long's that been on there, Paul? That long?
I don't know. Gas company's not gonna tell me that. They may be able to tell the building or the gas inspector that, but they're not gonna tell me that.
Technically,
I was
it's
just gonna
not.
say, depending on how long that was on, they can't say they've been using the building if there's no heating.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't know. Yeah, so, but,
And also,
And-
if it continues for a certain period of time, obviously, we don't want winter to come too soon, but is there a way to winterize the pipes or drain?
I'm sure there is, because they do it to houses all the time,
Yeah.
but I don't know if there's a fee involved in that or not. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. So next item is the candlelight vigil.
Yes.
Do you keep moving this back later every year, or is it my
No,
imagination?
it's your imagination.
I thought it was 7 one year and then 7:30, and now it's 8.
Yep, it's your imagination.
Yeah,
It's not dark
it's-
enough, Ed. This is 7 o'clock. It's not dark enough for candles.
This is true.
So,
Oh, it almost is outside.
yep,
So that's at 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
Yeah,
Can I expect all 3 board members?
sure. I'll be there.
And the chairman typically speaks? Okay.
Be happy to.
Okay.
All right, the next item is resignation of call firefighter Vernon Bullock.
Yep. Vern, as you can see from the letter, has been on the department since 2009. He actually moved in the area. He came from the Virginia area. Family was initially, I guess, from this area. Came to us. He had some training. We trained him a little bit the rest of the way. He is a valued employee in Long Meadow as a DPW guy, and his goal is to move up in the ranks. He's been there for a while, so he's looking to move up, taking on much more responsibility, and he just doesn't have the time to devote that's needed.
Okay. All right, Lorraine, once again, we'll send him a letter of reluctance, but a letter of thanks for the job he's done for the town. All right, next item is notification of start date for career firefighter Matthew Turowski.
Yes, the initial budget and plan was to have him start in mid-October, when the fire academy started. There's been some delays in the construction process. The last notification we have now, it's mid-November. There's 2 reasons that I'm requesting that he can start on that original date is, one, it gives him that extra time in the station to go through the daily operations and everything, so when he gets out and we start the extended coverage plan, he'll be that much more prepared for it. Second is, he's got a full-time job now. He needs to have a date to set, and if we keep floating him and telling him it's going to be maybe mid-November, maybe October, it's very hard for somebody who he has a good job, but he wants to do what's right by them and give them plenty of time for notice and all that. So my thoughts are, it's a budgeted position. It's not, there's no extra out-of-pocket for the town. It's already there, and we can get him in-house, finish him on he's almost done with all the trucks right now as a driver, but that'll finish him. He'll be able to wrap that up before he actually goes to the academy, and he'll be set with that.
This won't be a light-duty job, would it?
We don't do light-duty jobs.
Should I trick him?
Not on the books,
All
yeah.
right. Any questions from the board?
Nope.
So I'd like to propose a motion to, do we have to, or is
I
this just
think-
notification, or should we formalize it?
I think you formalize it would probably be
All right.
good, yeah.
I'd like to propose a motion to allow Matthew Turowski to start October 14th, 2015, with the fire department.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
So he will be, how do you classify him then?
He'll be a firefighter,
Full
right?
fledged
He'll be a
firefighter
career
With
firefighter.
no credentials.
He has credentials. He's already a
He has
firefighter now.
Then we're good.
Right,
I'm
so
good.
he'll
Okay.
be doing everything, and like I say, he's almost the driver of all the apparatus. He's finishing up the ladder, but, so this will just get that done before. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So would he would actually be active if a fire were to
Yes,
happen?
he
would be
rides
active
on a
in
truck,
fire.
and same thing with Joe Giordano. He's going to the academy the exact same time. Joe started in July, and Joe rides, and Joe's almost done with the driving, so
Okay.
it's working out well.
Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very good. Next is the Seagrave restoration.
Yes, this is primarily through the East Long Meadow Firefighters Association. They had, it's been something that's been in the works for a while, and a couple of the guys have really taken it. The problem is it's way beyond most of our expertise. I think you've seen the truck in the corner. All 3 of you have. Angela went over today, looked at it. So They went to the CBA, CPC, and with a proposal to have the truck restored to almost original. And with the money that we've collected over the years and the $25,000 from CPC, the truck will be back on the road. It'll be a parade-worthy truck. It will not be a fire apparatus. We won't be taking it to any fire calls, but it'll be a parade-worthy truck. It'll be a nice showpiece for open house and out. One of the requirements from the CPC was that the town's assurance that they're not going to sell it. The town, it is owned by the town. At one point, it went to the DPW. They came back, and there was a lot of confusion of who had it, the association or the town. The town still owns the fire truck itself. So they want to make sure, which rightly so, it's a piece of history of the town, that we're not going to sell it. I don't anticipate that it would be done, but I think they just need a letter from the Board of Selectmen stating that when the truck is refurbed, the town has no desire or plans to sell the truck, and will commit to keeping it. And there's plenty of room at the fire station. It's got a spot over in the corner now, so it's not taking up, room yet. If we get crowded, I'll let you know, but I don't see that happening in the near future.
You have to put it in your garage.
It might fit in my garage. It's such a smaller truck.
Put it in the old fire station.
Well, if they were still here, that would be neat. Take half of that, make it, Tony Zampacini had talked about
Yeah.
making that half the old fire station, the other half a meeting spot. It would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would, I would support that. Yep.
All right.
Could it be something like, just asking a question?
Yep.
Through the chair, for 99 years or something like that? Because for future boards, I mean, I don't think it should change, but what if it just, all of a sudden, it's just not?
I don't know how that would work, to be honest with you.
Build a door.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure a new board could come in and say, that board had agreed not to sell it, but now we're a new board and we want, we want
Or
to sell it.
circumstances.
We have to pay the mortgage.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, okay,
I think it's great history.
Yeah, it
hate
is.
to
It
see
really is.
Leave the town, but I'm just saying,
Well, I think, I think I'll propose a motion that the board approves the CPC's request for assurance that the Seagrave will not be sold when the project is complete, which does not give a time.
It doesn't.
Yeah, okay.
So moved.
Is there a second?
second, checking with council. When we as a board are putting, okay, the question is, what is it called?
The Seagrave,
Seagrave.
the town's first motorized fire apparatus has been at our fire station for years. It's in disrepair right now, and we have some funds, they're going to CPC for the rest of the funds to get it back up and showpiece ready. CPC wants insurance from the board and the fire department, which I work for the board, so that we will not sell it when the truck is refurbed. And what I think Selectman Thorpe's concern is should we put a time frame on it, so future boards, if they want to?
You're not gonna bind any future board.
That's,
No vote of this current board can bind a future board.
so basically what,
But even if you were to put a time limit on it, it wouldn't bind the boards? Okay, then that defeats that.
The rule is an elected board, you're elected, you perform the functions that you have the authority to perform while you're in office, but you can't put an order in place that says you can never paint this room any color other than gray. The next Board of Selectmen, even if you have one or two members from the same board, could vote to alter that vote. So, not to mislead the CPC, but that's not something that this board or any other board can give them.
So we can give that assurance, but it'll only be good theoretically till April.
You can give it to your...
Or till they change the form of
Say as
government.
long as this board is in place.
Okay. All right, how about that? I'll modify my, since everyone's in agreement about this, right?
Yeah.
I'll modify it to say, we'll give assurance from that when the project is complete, Seagrave will not be sold as long as this board remains intact.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing?
I liked your first motion better.
Well, it's just, I'm just trying to get it to the point where,
No, I get you.
you know.
I'm just saying.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. All right. Lastly, we have
We're back to the pay increase for the call firefighters. I was in July, we discussed a letter from the board for the town accountant, and that way we can put the money for the town meeting. What Lorraine, through diligence, has found, the board, when they took the vote back in February 3rd, I wasn't at that meeting, but when you guys took the vote February 3rd, it was for consideration, not approval. So what needs to happen is the board needs to, if so choose, to vote to approve it, and then it would be based on FY16 still needs to go to town meeting. The amount is $1,650 over the $55,000 that was annually appropriated. So if the board so choose, and I'm not sure if it was just the way it was written in the agenda as far as consideration or approval, or but if that's what the board would like to do.
I know we discussed this. Any comments from the board? I mean, before you get, I know, I didn't think I was against it because it's not a big dollar amount, and obviously it's, you know, individually we're dealing with pennies.
I think I watched the minutes today, and you said $100 an hour is not enough.
That was for the call part.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we
To go into a
It
burning
was.
building?
It was a. You guys voted for consideration, and I like I say, that's exactly how it was written.
Well, if that was February, that would have been before.
Town meeting, and it never got.
Yeah.
It never got
That's right.
through.
Yeah, you were here. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, any other questions or comments from the board? Then I'd like to,
I think we should vote on
all right,
it.
propose a motion to approve the 3% pay increase for the Call Fire Department.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
So now we can get a figure and go to special town meeting,
Right.
which is our next topic.
$1,650, and so now Lorraine can write the letter. And we can
All right.
move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. I should bring some grants for you today.
Explain that. I was looking over one of the
Warrants.
warrants, and it said Sparky
Crayons.
Crayons. And I was wondering exactly what I thought, you know, was near the
We
fourth.
buy, with our grant money from the state, part of our fire prevention material, most of our fire prevention materials comes right from NFPA. And every year, there's a theme that Sparky's involved, Sparky the fire dog's involved in. So we buy the Sparky color book with the new theme on it. Hence, we also buy Sparky crayons.
Yeah.
Okay.
So seeing a bill come through for crayons for the fire department.
Well, Sparky,
Yeah, yeah.
Sparky
Tends
Crayons.
to make people wonder, but
Yeah. I didn't know
Thank
whether
you.
setting fires or
All right.
what. Thank you.
The next item is special town meeting, which I assume we should probably set a date for, since it's beginning of September.
And Mr. Chairman, the departments are asking, because it's
Yeah.
enough lead time they'll need.
Right.
So 6 weeks at least, I would think we were looking at.
End of October, some
End of
point.
October.
Do you have any suggestions, like whatever Mondays are towards the end of October?
Mondays you have the 19th and the 26th.
And I know usually one of our sticking points is getting free cash certified.
Right.
And I know Tom's here. Do you think that will be an issue this year?
I don't even have, maybe compare to past years, but it's always better to go if I'm thinking October 19th would be
October?
Yeah.
October 19th.
Yeah.
This way you do have a week if for whatever reason it's going to be pushed back. And
Like
then
no
you-
quorum?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. And
No,
then
that'll
your-
never happen.
the other extra week.
What's that? Yes.
There was some discussion about this at the Charter Commission meeting on Thursday, and trying to anticipate what the date of the fall town meeting might be. And I have to say, it's just my recollection, but I believe they have to schedule a public hearing
On the 15th.
on the 15th,
Yeah.
on the Thursday.
No,
Right,
no.
so- Yeah, they're going to do it on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it says
So the
here.
19th.
Mhm.
Okay. I spoke
Yeah,
up for
Thursday, October
That's all.
15th. That's okay.
my confusion. Okay.
No problem.
But that clarifies it. Good.
All right. So, yeah, why don't we put that down for October 19th then?
Is that given up at all?
Yes. Yeah, he said we need at least 6 weeks, so.
Okay.
All right, very good.
6 weeks. 6 weeks will be the 20th. Through the chair.
Okay.
So it's just 1 day shy, is that okay? Of 6
Greg,
weeks.
is that,
Well, today's the 8th.
yeah,
So that's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4, 5. It's just 1 day shy.
yeah, that should be fine. I mean, the problem,
That's my
the
question.
problem being if we go to the 26th and we have to wait a week, we're gonna, I won't be able to
Yeah.
attend for a couple weeks after that, so. Not that the world revolves around me, but I don't want to have to wait from October 26th.
19th sound okay, Tom?
Okay, all right. All right, so we're all set.
What's wrong with that?
There you go.
Thanksgiving is-
Yeah. All right, next item, the community funds distribution update. I see we have a list here of where the money is going or was going, or hopefully it's gone.
Is that up to date one?
Yeah, those are the proposals, I would assume. And we have $114 left?
I corrected, through the chair,
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the correction. Some of those numbers were wrong
Okay.
in the minutes, and so that was corrected.
Oh, okay. All right, so we don't have to do anything with this. This is just an update on what we're
Yeah, and just
what we spent.
some more information. I did speak with the schools involved with regards to,
Well, we gotta do something with this because
Yep.
these people wait. they're
Well, no, I
waiting.
think.
I understand that.
Well, the scholarships are done, right?
The scholarships are done, and also the Senate is done, but what has happened is, because this is new and having found the money, there's been a little delay in how to process it. So everybody's going to be notified. Greg is formulating the
Draft the
letter.
letter.
They'll be notified with the W-9 form, and we'll get that going. I did speak with the school department to see if all of the ones that were associated with the school department, if they could fill out one W-9, so that would make the process go faster. He's checking to see if that can be done. Nevertheless, each person will be notified with a letter and a W-9 form. The W-9 forms are going to be returned back into Lorraine, just in case they get lost over at Republic, which has been, unfortunately, an experience that we have had, so that we'll have copies to be able to shoot it right back over and not have to, go back to the people to have them fill it out again.
Through the chair.
Mm-hmm.
The dress uniform for police color guard, I
Well-
thought that got dissolved or something.
Well,
because of a reason.
What the police had said that, well, I'd have to talk to the chief about it. If they don't want it for that, they did mention that they would like to have dumbbells placed in there, because they don't have a set of them, for helping them keep in shape for the job. And, the firemen have a nice weight room too, so that way everybody gets a little something.
But we should have noted that here,
Oh, I
agree
can.
with that.
Yeah.
I can, but
Well,
it's not.
It's going to go to the police
Because-
department one way or
Anyway,
the other.
right.
Because it's misleading.
Yeah. All right. All right, but this.
Well,
that
that's
was-
what we voted on.
Yeah, that was just a notification, obviously.
So we're sending stuff out, notification to these people, because they've been waiting quite a while.
Yep.
for that.
Yes.
I'm drafting a letter.
All right. Next item is it's the code enforcement for the 8 locations, and I know, our friend Mr. Turner was in before, and I know we got a late update today from you, you being Dan Hellier, our building inspector, building commissioner, not just you, but I guess there's a few that we have to follow up on.
There's a couple of them.
Yeah, okay. Any additions? We already discussed a lot of these. Any further?
No, there's some concerns, but
Okay.
I'm not to say whether they're right or wrong.
Yeah, okay.
I'll talk to Attorney Donahue.
All right. And is there any comments from the, any questions or anything from the board?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, no.
No, go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Dan and I went out on these 6:30, 6 o'clock one night till 8:30. It was quite interesting, but one of the places out by my house that wasn't on the list is rectified from 15 cars down to 2. So, we had quite a discussion with this guy, probably for a half, 3/4 of an hour. But he did, take all the cars out of his yard and
Mhm.
stuff.
That's
But
good.
I gotta tell you, the problem we have is, we're there, they do it, and then some of them put them back in their yard, you
Right.
know? That's the problem we're running into. It isn't if he's not going out and doing them, it's they take them out. As a matter of fact, we got another one on Mill Road, the exact same situation. We went there, we told them they gotta get all those cars out of there, and now apparently they're all back in again, you know? So it makes it tough when you get someone coming and saying, well, Mr. Hellier's not doing his job. Well, how many times you go out there, you gotta go out there, and the only way we know if someone complains, you know? But it's been tough with some of them, because you go there, the car's not there, and then a month later, they're back there again, you know?
Through the chair. Oh, okay.
Well, one of the things that maybe with our town council being here, I know is, the one that's playing through Ziba is at 159 Maple Street, and that is in zoning board of appeals, but according to planning, and then maybe the town council can help, Mr. Hellier's hands are tied for 159 Maple Street, where a truck is parked there, a pretty big truck, because it's in zoning board of appeals. And can a building official take action on that one if it's already now gone to Ziba?
I don't even know if you've got his full attention. Hey,
Yes,
Jim.
Mr. Donahue?
Jim, Greg's got a question for you.
One of these code enforcement is 159 Maple Street, where there's a large box truck is there, and it has gone to the zoning board of appeals. Does that now tie our building officials' hands, that he can't do anything because it's now in their purview?
It's an appeal to the zoning board of appeals of the commissioner's determination, correct?
Was determination, and what was your determination?
If there was a box van there.
That there was a box van there.
Right. He's appealed whether he's permitted to have it or not, correct?
Correct.
So
No.
No.
No, the person, 159 Maple Street, has not appealed it. Mr.
Turner
Turner had put in the complaint. Mr. Helliard said that there was no findings. Then we went to the, then we went to the Board of Appeals, and then it was said that we never asked Mr. Helliard to go get it. So it came back before our board, and there was a letter that was issued. We voted on it, and he was asked to go do it. That Mr. Helliard went out and looked and found the violation. So now the issue is still in front of the Board of Appeals, because what they did is they they continued it, because we didn't know whether or not we had asked him. We had said it in our meeting, but we hadn't formally asked him. That was when there was a change of the guard, so to say, here.
I'm confused as to
Join it.
how...
Jim, can you come up here, please?
Sorry.
Maybe the building commissioner should come up as well. So,
It started with a complaint from Mr. Turner.
citizens complaint about the operation of a property in violation of zoning bylaws. The building commissioner made an initial determination where he wasn't able to find a violation.
Right.
Then what? Then somehow it got to the ZBA
Yeah, that's incorrect. I did send him a letter.
initially?
Yes.
And so it went to the, how did it get from your letter of violation to the ZBA?
Mr. Turner called for it.
Mr. Turner appealed your decision of finding a violation that he asked you to find?
Yeah.
No.
No.
He appealed the decision of no finding. That's what he appealed. He wouldn't have spent that kind of money just to appeal something that there was a...
Okay. That's the way you understand it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair enough. I agree to disagree. So anyway, the ZBA, I just happened to be at that meeting. The ZBA was asking, did we ever direct Mr. Hilliard to go and look at the property? And what we did is we went back and looked, and we saw in the minutes that it really wasn't a direction where there was a letter. So it came back before the board. We voted. A letter was sent by Greg to Mr. Hilliard, telling him to go and investigate this property.
Yep.
So he went and investigated the property. He did find a violation. But I believe what Mr. Hilliard is saying now, because it's still in continuance from ZBA, are his hands tied.
You issued a new finding of violation?
No, because it's in the zoning board of appeals right now.
But how did it get to
Oh,
the
no,
zoning board of appeals?
no, I didn't issue a new finding. I did not issue a new finding.
Okay.
But you just said that there was a box truck there,
Correct.
right? Okay, so did you issue a ticket when you found the box truck?
No, I issued a letter requesting that he remove it.
Okay.
Okay.
I apologize for this, but I'm very confused by the factual situation here. A citizen complains to the building commissioner about the operation of a particular site, this Maple Street site. Right? The building commissioner then does what?
Then I go out and investigate it.
What did you find? Did you find a violation or did you not find a violation?
I did not initially find a violation.
And so you issued a finding of no violation?
No, I did not. I went back.
No, so you went out, you didn't see a violation, and nothing happened. Then you did something else.
Then I went out and reinvestigated after hours.
Yep.
Because he's a plumbing contractor.
And then what happened?
I found the box fan in there.
Okay, and did you issue a notice of violation to the property owner?
No, I did not.
Okay. And so did you notify the complaining party, Mr. Turner?
Yes, I did.
That there was no violation?
I don't have my book with me, so I can't, I have it all in a,
We must have, if I went to the zoning board of
Yeah.
appeals.
I'm just trying to determine how it got to the zoning board of appeals. Let me just give you the scenario the way it should work. If a citizen complains and the building commissioner does an investigation and finds no violation, he either notifies the
159 Maple.
complaining person of the finding of no violation, which that person then has the right to appeal his determination to the zoning board of appeals, or the building commissioner investigates the property, finds a violation, issues a notice of violation to the property owner, and the property owner can appeal the determination of the finding of a violation to the zoning board of appeals. So it either got to the zoning board of appeals in the first instance one of two ways. The building commissioner found no violation and either issued a finding to the complaining party of no violation or took no action on the violation, and the complaining party appealed to the ZBA saying the building commissioner, by not doing anything, is wrong, or he issued a complaint to the property owner based on the complaining party's concerns, and the property owner feels that the decision of the building inspector was wrong, he's not in violation, and he appeals it to the zoning board of appeals. It sounds, and this is where you can correct me if I'm wrong, that it got to the zoning board of appeals initially because no decision was issued in response to Mr. Turner's complaint. Is that fair?
well, that's fair, but,
Okay.
you know, I have to look into my records.
Okay.
So,
It's, 159 Maple says resolved on there. That's what drove the gentleman to the CBA.
so
159
ultimately,
Maple.
here's the question. We've gotten to this point. Are his hands tied to do anything further because it's in the zoning board of, it's under review by the zoning board of appeals?
No. If he finds now, if it's before the zoning board of appeals because there was no action or no finding of a violation, and he subsequently determines that a violation exists, then he can issue a complaint for a violation to the property owner. And then the property owner determines whether they're going to come into compliance or whether they're going to take an appeal to the zoning board of appeals. But the issue that's before the zoning board of appeals, if it's because of no action, shouldn't stay the enforcement of the zoning ordinances if there is in fact a violation.
Because that's what we wanted, that's what we've been trying to drive at here for the last 20 minutes. Is can he still go after the...
And you pay me not to answer questions, and I try to do my best to do it.
You do a great job.
You're like Rapunzel, you spun that like...
No, to restate the question, the fact that there is an appeal of no action by the building commissioner with respect to a complaint, and subsequent to the filing of that appeal, the building commissioner finds that there is a complaint, he can issue a complaint to the property owner directing them to come into compliance. And then, if the property owner then appeals that to the zoning board of appeals, then the building commissioner's hands are tied in issuing tickets or going forward with any enforcement actions until there's a determination.
Okay.
So, your hands aren't tied.
My hands are tied?
They are not tied.
Okay, so I can take...
If you find a violation, you can issue a complaint. You should issue a complaint to the property owner to bring the property into compliance.
Okay.
And...
I'd have to look into my...
Yeah, whatever your notes are, but
Yeah.
if the only reason your hands would be tied is if you were doing something that was adverse to the pending matter before the zoning board of appeals. And the only issue before the zoning board of appeals, as I understand it, is an appeal of a finding of no violation. And if you now believe there is a violation, you have the right to go forward and correct that situation. Assuming those are the facts as they're laid out.
Thank you, sir.
So other than that, I think all these other items are either have been taken care of or are being taken care of.
And which ones are those?
The ones you sent the email late today.
Yeah.
And I think the rest of them, most of them have been resolved, or, well, maybe not resolved.
So they've
but-
changed, some of them had changed.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with going out. We could all go out there and not see anything, and then Joe Smo could go out and see, and then boom, there it is.
Yeah.
Because that chart, I went out and there is no school van, and then on my way back from
There is a
the
school
meeting,
van. I saw it
and there was a
yesterday.
school van, so yeah.
This morning I saw it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a matter of timing, so I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think people could bring school vans home. I thought it was
Yeah.
property. I didn't
This
think
is a-
people could bring school vans home.
That I cannot say, if it's whether
Yeah,
it's a
they-
commercial vehicle or not.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just wondering if it would belong to a
School buses are
school
going.
bus company. I don't know why they let somebody bring it home, but that's just, I'm just trying to prolong the
I
matter.
can't answer
No,
that
don't you
question.
dare.
All right, so basically it sounds like of the 8 locations, you're working on a few and
Yeah.
and then a lot of them at least half of them are resolved and
While we have
So-
the cable being put in the ground versus, no, the solar being put in the ground versus being put on the roof. Can you
Oh, he
check
didn't
on-
appeal his decision. He didn't appeal my decision.
Okay. In your decision?
What he's doing is he's putting in a 40 by 26 foot metal building in the back.
Okay, all right. So did you have to rescind your building permit for
Yeah,
that?
he got a letter. on
Got it.
that.
Fantastic.
He had a letter, and like I say, he's amending his permit because it's the same size.
Okay,
So all we're doing is amending his permit to state.
to state regulations, okay. Great.
very good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Y'all
Thank you,
done
sir.
with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you for coming in, I
All
appreciate
right,
that.
thanks, Dan.
Well, if it wasn't for Lorraine, I wouldn't be here.
You're the best.
She is, isn't she? I
All right, thanks, Dan.
See you later.
was late on my workout. So,
All right.
Thanks, Dan.
Next item is the town clerk's stipend. Tom, you want to come up? How are you, sir? So the stipend issue is something that you've been receiving for years, but as we determined, it was never officially voted on.
Exactly, it was presented at town meeting,
Yeah.
because I knew it had to be accepted to be official. So I presented it at prior town meetings, and
Somehow along the way, it was assumed to be approved, and you've been getting it, and now
exactly.
our astute new town accountant found out that it was never approved.
Yeah.
So now we're sitting here, and if unless I'm wrong, you want to bring it to special town meeting.
Right.
Okay,
So just take those two articles and just almost adopt it the right way
okay,
to make it official.
all right.
Yeah,
And then you've given us the history here of,
yes,
okay.
yeah.
Of course, I've stolen all your thunder. Now you can talk.
Couldn't say it by myself, just, that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
In one of them, it got approved and then moved into the annual budget, so instead of being by itself, it was approved, but it was in the operation budget.
Okay.
Which so technically, it's there. The money's always been budgeted, always been there. So that's not an issue. It's just technically, it wasn't adopted formally like it should. So
All right.
that October 19th
19th, yeah.
date,
Yep.
yeah,
Okay.
should take care of that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is it, according to this section 108P,
Yeah.
is that a given when you get these degrees? It's automatic?
No, what we have to do, what we're going to do now, is you gotta go to town meeting and have it voted upon. And, ideally to have it sponsored by the board, and then have the townspeople vote to accept it. Because it's a state law, it's at the Massachusetts.
It's a state law.
It's a state law, but to go to the local level, it's gotta be adopted by the governing board at a town meeting.
So you get this every year?
Yeah,
And you have been getting it every year since, what, 2008?
You have been getting it?
2000.
So you owe
2009.
you owe us
2000.
money back because we didn't adopt it?
Hopefully not.
You didn't answer that.
No, I didn't. They're skillful.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so what we'll do is, that's another thing we'll have to do, is set a deadline for warrant items,
Second.
which is usually, about now for the for the regular town meeting, like 6 weeks before, so.
Next week, yeah.
All right,
Yeah, but as I said, I think it's smart on your part going to the 19th, because the free cash to get certified, there's some changes in the Department of Revenue, there's a lot of retirees that
Mhm.
took the package. So for us to certify our free cash, we're gonna have, probably the same person, but then if we go to the state level, they're new people. So
Okay.
it's good to give us that little buffer, yeah.
very good. So you're just informing us of this.
Yeah.
You don't expect a decision tonight, not that there's gonna be a problem, hopefully, but you don't.
Yeah, no
Okay.
decision, but
All right.
just to get your approval that,
Yeah.
in your backing to have your sponsorship, ask for your sponsorship,
Mhm.
to put it on as a
Okay.
warrant article for the
Yeah, well,
October.
it's always good, because townspeople will be the ultimate
Decision
decision-making
makers.
body, so.
Exactly.
All right,
Okay,
thank you, sir.
thank you for your time.
right.
Thank you, that was fun.
I want to ask you a question on the next one, though.
Oh, sure.
All right, so next item is vacancies on boards and commissions. Yes, sir.
Like directors of the conservation and zoning,
Okay.
do they have to sign something with you saying that they get approved to be the director of that?
Do they,
You know, like the director of the zoning or director of the conservation commission, or they have to go through you to get sworn in to be, that they get,
Oh, that's their appointment?
yeah.
Anything if it's a commission under the board,
Mhm.
they have to come
They have
to
get
the,
sworn in.
yeah, they do have to come to myself or the assistant clerk to get sworn in. Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's only a-
All right.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Thanks, guys.
So the next item is, and we touched on this before.
Yeah.
We've got openings as of today on a number of boards, although it looks like if we have 2 under emergency management, we may have covered those tonight, so, but we've got,
But it doesn't matter because.
Right, it's
okay.
unlimited,
It's
yeah.
unlimited, that's what they said.
but I think it's probably is a good idea to put this out there in some form, that we have openings in all these different boards, and that way either put it on the town website, maybe we can get it as a reminder in some sort of inexpensive fashion.
Inexpensive?
Yeah, I know that's
That's what I,
difficult. but,
That's why I asked for that to be
Yeah.
placed on today,
Yep.
to see where we are with regards to boards and getting it out there and getting folks.
We'll take care of that.
let them know.
okay, all right, thank you.
The letters of interest, and, okay.
This
All
is,
right.
this is as of September 8th, well, this isn't recent.
This is today.
That's as of today.
Yep, yeah. All right. Now, under new business, we got the resignation of Teresa Kavanaugh from the Housing Authority. Now, I assume that's the opening in the,
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
is that the opening in the Housing Authority that's on this? Okay. All right, so once again, we'll send Ms. Kavanaugh a letter, which you probably already wrote up, expressing her thanks for her service to the town. And the next item is the town's alternate voting member for the Scantic Valley Regional Health Trust, which we did vote on. And Greg was the winner.
Jesse.
Greg, he's for the alternate, so.
Okay.
So I'll
We
have to-
voted on that at the last minute meeting, right?
yes. Actually,
Did we?
no, I
Maybe
think
we
we're,
need
I
to.
think, I think we're voting on it tonight.
Okay.
I think,
Because
yeah,
it says
that's
to,
what it's
yeah.
there for.
I'd like to propose a motion to name Greg Moyer as our interim town administrator to serve as the town's alternate voting member on the Scantic Valley Regional Health Trust.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so I'll just have to sign that.
We'll need to sign that, and I have a first meeting on Thursday, so.
Okay, the next item is, we got Verizon and National Grid for 2 pole locations, one on Harkness Avenue and one on Hamden Road. And I know we had some pole location meetings last week, which
Yeah. Full location on the 4th, so we had 2 hearings.
Were they about
for each of
these?
About these, yes.
Okay, so,
Went well, we had a few citizen for their input, and both got approved there at that hearing as far as putting those polls in.
okay, so is this something we have to vote on to make it official?
I would think so, yes, sir.
Okay. I would like to propose a motion to allow, let's see, National Grid to install one sole-owned pole on Hamden Road, oh boy, beginning at a point approximately 136 feet west of the center line of the intersection of Sylvester Street. Location approximately is shown on the plan attached. Anyone might move that?
Oh, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. And I'd like to propose a motion to allow Verizon to locate a pole on Harkness Avenue. They're a little more vague, but it's Harkness Avenue somewhere. So, anyone want to make the motion? Or move the motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Town of East Long Meadow core values, is this something,
Mr. Chairman, if I could, it's something I do anywhere, or about everywhere I've gone. I do adjust it to the community that I'm in. Some people think it's just flowery words and they don't mean anything. This is how I grade in my time, and I think I showed this even during the interview process for me, where I have department head meetings now every Wednesday morning at 9. And gave them a draft of this and had them look it over so that there are any edits. But this would be actually put in either a frame or we have things for public counters. It has a document holder. I didn't bring one tonight, but 6 of them. That, would the public even see this? Would they even consider this? I mean, would they know that this is what we stand for? And I don't know if it takes board approval as far as these core values, but it's something that it means a lot. It means a lot to me going to the department heads as a town administrator interim. That it's not abiding by, but it gives you a framework of how the town would be managed, and anything from elected officials there. It's pretty general that we strive for things. It doesn't say we're going to meet that, but we're going to strive for it. It's hard to go against any of these objectives and goals, but it gives, like I said, it gives the framework for that.
Jim, is this something, do we have to vote on this, or can we just put this in the various offices if we're so inclined?
I would just say that you could put this up as an opinion of the board as to how employees and elected officials for the town should act,
Okay.
but I don't think it would require a vote.
Okay, great. Great, then we'll do that. Because I think it's a good idea. All right, next. East Long Meadow Educational Endowment Fund is requesting their 5th annual road race, Sunday, September 20th, 8 a.m. They have a temporary food service permit. The application is approved by Lois Lunowitz, our temporary health agent. They receive recommendations from police and fire, and they're waiting for, they're pending recommendations from the DPW. I would like to, I know this may look like it's almost last minute, but I would like to apologize because this came to my desk, and in the last month or so, I've been preoccupied, and it sat there until such time as I said, wow, it's getting close to the date, I should probably give this to somebody. So anyways, I would like to propose a motion to approve the road race, the temporary food service permit, and with the caveat that we get the recommendations from the DPW.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item, this is just a notice, American Saw Lennox. The board has an invitation to attend the 100th anniversary of American Saw Lennox, Thursday, September 10th, 2015 at 11:30 a.m. And the one thing I would like to vote on is I would like to vote on a request to, I'd like to propose a motion to make September 10th American Saw Lennox Day in East Long Meadow in honor of their 100th anniversary. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Next item was you have a request from the Masonic Temple for a one-day liquor license, beer and wine, on Saturday, September 19th, 2015, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Masonic Hall, 43 Chestnut Street, and also an entertainment license for the same date and time. Insurance is on file. I'd like to propose a motion to approve this event.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. There's also another request from Masonic Temple for a one-day liquor license, beer and wine, on Saturday, September 26th, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the Masonic Hall at 43 Chestnut Street, and also an entertainment license for the same date and time. Insurance is on file. I'd like to propose a motion to approve this event.
So moved.
And the liquor license. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Next item is a request from Hasbro Employee Association for a Family Fun Day on Saturday, September 12th, 2015, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 443 Shaker Road, and also a temporary food service permit, application approved by Lois Lunowitz, temporary health agent, and a bounce house and slide, recommendations received from police and fire department. I would like to propose a motion to approve this event, the food service permit, and the bounce house and slide.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
That's Family Fun Day, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And we have a request from the Greek Orthodox Church for a 3-day liquor license, beer, wine, and aperitifs on Friday, October 16th, Saturday, I think this is Saturday, October 17th, and Sunday, October 18th.
Get the 16th?
Yeah, Friday, yeah. From a different, let's see, the Friday is 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. I'm sorry, it's Saturday. I think Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday,
Saturday.
11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
All right.
And for entertainment, same date and time. The police department's recommendation, insurance is on file. I'd like to propose a motion to approve the 3-day liquor license and the entertainment license for this event.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we get down to the Benefits Administration Manager. There was a request from a retiree to be put on our town insurance, but I assume they do not qualify for Medicare.
Is she here?
No. But I think this is, I'm trying to find it here.
I don't see that.
It should be an email from Corinne
Yeah.
dated September 4th.
Okay, here we go.
A gentleman lost his insurance, Mr. Chairman, and now the wife that was on his policy in the end
Right.
is requesting the insurance.
Okay. Yeah, I've received a request from one of our Hampton County retirement retirees asking to enroll herself and her husband into our group contributory health insurance coverage effective 9/1/2015. Per the attached retiree eligibility policy, this request is to be submitted to the Board of Selectmen for approval. I have verified their eligibility per the policy and have received the necessary paperwork to effectuate this enrollment. Please present this request at the next Board of Selectmen's meeting, and we'll let me know when I can enroll the couple. So I'd like to propose a motion to approve this couple to be put on the town retiree insurance plan. Is there a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Your turn.
Board of Health old business, nothing to report. New business, we have the renewal of tobacco license, 14 of them, that we do every year. I'd like to make a motion to renew the tobacco license for 14 vendors.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Do we have the things here so we can review them?
Do what?
Yeah, probably get them to sign, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta sign them all.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then we have renewal of outdoor wood boiler permits, the usual 3 we get every year. I'd like to make a motion to renew these 3 wood boiler permits.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And the last thing we have is W.F. Young's Certificate of Free Sale in Chile. I'd like to make a motion to certify the free sale for Chile for F.W. Young.
So moved.
Is there a motion?
I'll second it.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I think I'll have you, if you don't mind, do the meetings invitations and reminders, and then we'll get the barrister up here.
You always do that to me.
Sorry.
Okay, LEPC meeting on Wednesday, September 9th at 7 p.m. at the Council of Aging located at 328 North Main Street. Regional Board of Selectmen meeting will be on Thursday, September 10th at 7 p.m. in the Informational Center at Minnechaug Regional High School, 621 Main Street in Wilbraham. There'll be a joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen with Appropriations Committee on Tuesday, September 15th at 6:30 here at the Council of Aging, 328 North Main Street. And the notification of a public hearing for the Charter Commission, it will take place on Thursday, October 15th at 7 p.m. at the high school auditorium located at 180 Maple Street here in town.
Thank you. Town Council?
Good evening.
Long time no see.
Thank you. That's the water.
All right, we have 7 items.
And with the exception of item 31, which is a notification of a time change of a civil service hearing, the other items are executive session for the purposes of discussing union collective bargaining issues, and 32 and 33, non-union contract bargaining negotiation, where the discussion of those matters in public could have a detrimental effect on the interests of the town.
Okay, let me try this. I'd like to make a motion to move to executive session to discuss matters of union and non-union contract negotiations, where discussing this in public may have a detrimental effect on the town. Now you can move.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, to return to open, only to adjourn.
So move.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Selectman Thorpe?
Yes.
Selectman Gorman?
Yes.
Selectman Federici, yes. All right.